Good Thursday morning, Market Chameleons, and there he is, the King Chameleon, Dmitry. How you doing, Dima?
Good morning, Will. How are you?
Great. You want to start with the disclaimer that's up?
Yep. Good morning, everyone. Before we get started, keep in mind, Will and I, Market Chameleon, we're not registered investment advisors. We're not broker dealers. We're not telling you what to do. We're just sharing ideas. If you need professional advice, call your broker. That's what they're there for, to give you advice, provide you with guidance. There's the disclaimer.
All righty then. What are you seeing this morning, my friend?
We'll take a look at the pre-market report. And again, if you guys are joining us for the first time, we're open to questions. So if you have a question you would like to ask, the Market Chameleon tool, analytics, strategies, things that maybe you're doing that are working for you and you'd like to share with the rest of the community, things that didn't work out or you saw something weird or strange, come on. A couple ways to ask the questions is you could type them in on the live chat on YouTube. Will's monitoring them. He'll read it back to me. We'll also put a link out there on the live chat to Zoom. If you click on it, it takes you over to Zoom. Click on raise your hand. You don't have to turn on your video camera, but then you could ask your question directly. So while we're waiting for any questions to queue up, we'll start on the pre-market report. These are stocks that are moving to pre-market hours. We'll take a look at what's moving, maybe get some insights. We've been doing that for a couple of days now. And we could move on from there to other reports if we don't get any questions. Sound good, Will?
Perfect.
Yep. And so let's start out this pre-market report. Stocks moving into pre-market hours. We're trading into pre-market hours. We have the most active stocks, biggest percentage gainers, biggest percentage decliners. Down here, I see 65 made our percentage gainers list, 106 on the decliners list. So right now we're looking like we're setting up for more bearish bias at the open. I'm going to use the filters up top to narrow down this list. And let's take a look at the S&P 500 stocks just to see if we have a similar situation there. I'm going to come up here where the filters are. And this in ETF filter, I'm going to drop it down. I'm going to select the SPY ETF, which will filter the list below by the SPY holdings. So I'll click in here. And now I see 7 made our percentage gainers list that are part of SPY, 20 on the decliners. So not huge list, but a little bit more setting up more on the bearish side at the open. Let's take a look. If there are no questions, maybe what I'll do is take a look at some insights of pre-market movers in the last month and what tended to happen to those stocks that were trading in pre-market hours, gap either up or down, what happened to them the rest of the day. And what we'll do is track their performance from from the opening, 9:30 till 10 o'clock. And we'll also track the performance from the opening to the close of the day to see, if there was a follow through, if there was an opportunity to exit or take profits. So what tended to happen on average? Okay. I'm gonna unfilter this list. I'm gonna come down here. And before I get started, well, you did mention you did a webinar on volume profile. Is that correct?
Yeah, and actually Robert Black, always bringing good questions, Robert. Thank you. He's saying, Will, would you ask D if there is a volume profile on any part of the MC platform? He is asking you. For those who don't know, last night's webinar was with Donald Williams. I'll put a link to the webinar in the chat so anyone who didn't see can go to it. But yeah, that's the first question popping up.
So let me come back to this page, and I didn't see the volume profile webinar yesterday, Will. So I'm not, I can't comment exactly like it, but I look at volume probably differently than most people, right? So, and I'm working on it where it gives you a much better picture. I don't have it available now, But for the most part, here's how people in charts will look at volume is they'll look at, here's a volume graph, and it'll show you where was the volume the heaviest, right? And here's a chart. I think this I put on Apple. There's a chart here, and then you get kind of like, you could get these bars over here where you see a lot of volume. Then you kind of can get these bars over here where it shows you yesterday where there's a big concentration of volume in a stock. So the way I look at volume differently is because I look at the tape and the details of the tape. And part of understanding the way I see volume and the breakdown of it is to first you have to understand how our market structure. Okay, it's very important to understand market structure to really analyze volume. Otherwise, you won't be able to really understand what's going on and get a good breakdown. And what I mean by that is we have a complicated market structure, and it's like a network, right? And it's a network of all these different broker dealers, exchanges, and matching engines. They're all connected. And it's based on rules, SEC rules. But to simplify it, the way to access our network, right? The way to access the markets is through a registered broker dealer. So either you're yourself registered with the SEC as a broker dealer, and then you can access it directly with your own computers, your own machines, or if you're not, you have to use a broker, like whatever you guys think or swim, E-Trade, that's for retail. Then you have hedge funds, and they'll access it through potentially a broker like Goldman Sachs. Mutual funds will send theirs through like Goldman, Knight, Citadel. And now when that happens, there's direct, right, access, and then there's an indirect, let's say, through a broker. When it goes through a broker, it usually takes a certain path, okay? And the path that it usually takes is it will go through an alternative trading system first to try to get matched up in, like, we refer to as dark pools. And if it doesn't get, and they try to match up as much as they can there. So you see here the dark pools. So as much as they could match up in the dark pools, they try to do that. If it doesn't, then it goes to the lit exchanges. So the lit exchanges will be like NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, meaning that once you place an order on the lit exchange, people could see it, right? You'll be able, it's not hidden. So that's why they're called the lit exchange. And what goes into the dark pool are institutional trades that these brokers work. So they try not to expose the institutional trade to the world if they're trying to buy a lot of stock or sell a lot of stock. So they're sitting there in a dark pool, and their algorithms are working to match them up if they get the other side. And they also match it up with retail order flow. So all the retail order flow that flows in there will try to get internalized or matched up inside the dark pool. So once it escapes the dark pool, means the liquidity in the dark pool wasn't there, right? That's why it makes it. The other thing to understand clearly, and I'll try to make a video and draw this out, and I'm sorry I'm taking too long, but the other thing to understand is there are certain players that will not get access to the dark pools because the dark pool operators control who they allow in and who don't. So mainly like high frequency traders or hedge funds that are trying to scoop liquidity really quickly because they have superior knowledge, called adverse selection. Those will not actually, dark pool operators will not allow them in. So understanding the players involved, how orders flow, and where they might be coming from is important to analyze the volume, right? Because then you're going to get a real big picture. Now I see what's going on, right? And you analyze dark pools, I think, in differently, because right now all this volume, it's all meshed up together, right? So all you're doing is you're seeing this aggregated volume, but what you're not seeing is kind of the breakdown, how how it came in, what is it doing? Are they hedges from options trades? Are they coming in match? Are they block trades getting matched up, or are they what I call these high volume burst trades, where a big trade could not find the liquidity and they had to sweep the markets on the lit exchanges? So when you break it down, how much of it are small trades from retail? How much are those block trades? How much are these high volume burst program trades? When are they trading? What other things are occurring? You're going to get a different picture. And what I'll do is maybe, and I'm not going to have time to write it, maybe organize it and really like kind of go through our market structure, how things work. Why are sweep trades important? Why are block trades important? Why are VWAP trades important? Um, you know, uh, and actually, like, odd lots are changing. What used to be an odd lot and considered retail is no longer. It's not the same thing. And why? How are odd lots treated actually by the marketplace? So there are all these rules in place, like what constitutes a last sale. So first, understanding all of that is important, and then you're going to get a clear picture. And the picture you'll get is where's their pressure coming, and where is it coming from? Is it starting to come from retail flow? Is it coming from institutional trades? Is it coming from program trades? And where are they participating and when? And are these program trades kicking off at the same time in a sector, or in a specific stock? Are the retail traders all of a sudden overwhelming the systems, and they're finding their way out of the dark pool and making it to the lit exchanges? Those are the things that interest me, right? Which you need benchmarks and more details. And I kind of started to right here, starting to chop them up, and I'm still doing it and looking at the tape, because there are other things on the tape that I need to exclude, such as, you have contingent trades in there. You have these here. Let me just maybe show you.